Hi guys, my name's Rick Shiels down here at Trafalgar Centre, Manchester, and we've got the final part of the trilogy of the Nike Vapor driver testing. So we've gone with the speed. Go and check that out on my channel first if you've not seen it. High launch, lots of power, the one that Tiger has been using a version of. No shaft, I've kept the shaft in this one. So that's the speed one, go and check that out. There's some nice results. Then I moved on to the Nike Vapor Pro. Slightly smaller version of that, slightly more for the elite player. Lower spinning, and I saw even better results with that. That felt really nice. So go on guys, go and check that out on my channel as well if you've not seen that already, because they were good. Now we've got the Nike Vapor Flex. So hopefully give you a bit of an understanding of these three drivers. We've got the speed for high launch power. We've got the Pro, the one that Rory McIlroy is using. So the kind of better player's version of the speed. Looks similar but has more characteristics for the better player. And then we've got the Flex. This is the most adjustable driver that Nike have brought out. They've got the adjustability as always in the shaft. So they've got the different in the hosel options from 8.5 degree all the way up to 12.5 degree in one single shaft setting, and left, right and neutral. So I've got this in 10.5 and neutral at the moment, but they've got this new cartridge in the back. So this is the FlexFlight. It is like a weighted cartridge. On one side it's 9 grams, on the other it's half a gram. And depending on which way you turn that in, and it's really easy to turn in and very easy to recognize which way it's in. So like other drivers where they've changed, let's say a cavity core of a driver, that's much easily identifiable which one it is, and it's super easy to do. And what it's doing, it's changing the center of gravity forward and back in the head. So this one, I've got this in the 9 grams being as far forward as I can. So up here near the face. That reduces spin. So the idea of that is it's low spinning, and potentially as a fitting option, you could go a little bit more loft because of that. Now I've had one of Nike Guru's fitters down today. He was fantastic. He was called Guy. He's still got all his gear here. He was really good, and he fitted me with this. And believe it or not, I've been fitted with all three drivers, and the driver's shaft that suited me best was the one that went across the board all three drivers. It was a Diamana whiteboard in extra stiff shaft. Now this is normally in quite an expensive shaft, but it comes as no extra upcharge, which I think is a pretty good thing. They've got this kind of little slot here behind the face, and that's to help with less spinning shots on off-centered hits. So when hit off the bottom or off the side, it spins less. Anyway, let's get hitting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit a few shots with it with the core one side, then I'm going to swap over and hit it the other way to see what the advantages are. I've got GC2 hitting real golf balls. So when we actually look down at the different driver heads, they don't appear from the top to be that different. They've all got the kind of black charcoaly face, and with the big Nike Volt swish at the back, Volt being the colour that they've used in these drivers. They've got this little design at the back edge, but it's very, unless you pull it to your face, you can hardly see it at all. The only difference is the speed head, which is slightly bigger, is a silver face. So that's the only way you can really recognise. From the top, you can't recognise it at all. So I like that. I mean, I love the look of this club head anyway. It's one of those ones that just really appeal to me. Just because I don't know whether it's because it's the dark finish with the really bright standout tick. It could possibly be. And they've not brought a super cavity into this, like I said before. It's just the weight shifting, which they've brought into it. Let's give it a smash. So I've got the weight all the way forward, should produce a very low spinning result. Let's see how it performs. Like definitely a lower ball flight. So we've got the green light on this time, the green line on this one this time. Yeah, you know what? It's nice. Very nice. It's a good start so far. It felt and sounded very different. It kind of sounded a little bit more dead off the face. It sounded like it was, I don't know whether that centre of gravity is forward. You know what it sounded like? When hit well, it sounded like my SLDR. So it had that kind of acoustic sound to it, and I think because the centre of gravity is forward, whether that has something to do with it, but it definitely sounded very different to the other two. Not as loud, a bit more dead sounding. Yeah, it has a very different feel and sound to it. For me, it's not the one that I would pick. It's not the standout club for me. Still got some decent distance, but for me, it doesn't quite, I don't know, give me the same response. Now, whether if I shift the weight, maybe, but this should produce low spinning. So far, it's not the lowest spinning club in the world. It's not producing super low spin numbers, and just has that really weird a kind of deadish sound to it. Anyway, I mean, it's performing well still. It's probably not the one that really jumps out for me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shift the weight around. I'm going to put it in the weight back position. I mean, it's another good result. It's another great result. I don't know why it's not quite jumping out at me there, yet the results are pretty good. I don't know whether it's the sound, it's the feel, there's something that doesn't quite sit as good as the Pro version for me on this. But still, with its flexibility now, with a custom fitting standpoint, I'm going to switch the weight around, and it is unbelievably easy. Watch this. It is literally one, if I can get the wrench, and that's the hardest bit, one turn out. That's how easy it is. So I'm going to change this over now. So I'm going to put the heaviest part of the weight in the back, turn it back in, and let's see what happens if it feels different or if it sounds different. I'm not sure if it will. I'm not sure if the results will be that different as well, because I've hit those okay, and the spins were not the most amazing spin numbers in the world, yet I've hit them well. Let's have another go with this one now. So the weight is back, should produce slightly higher launch, slightly not as low a spin, let's say. Yeah, it's a weird one for me, this. It doesn't stand out, but it's still performing very well. Still getting up to 300 yards. That's way over 300 yards. That's an odd one for me, that. I think I'd have to hit a lot of shots to get familiarised. I mean, the spin number on that was amazing. I have turned this thing the right way around, definitely. I've definitely turned it the right way around. Yeah, this is the mid-flight now. That produced better numbers for me. Much better numbers and spin rates. Another good result. Seems to have been the most straight out of the 3 drivers that I've hit. Still producing some great numbers. For me, this is a complete feel thing for me for this driver. It just doesn't feel super, don't know, just not quite as good as the Pro version, but still producing some great numbers. I'm going to hit one more. So I think the cavity core will have an influence. It has to. There's no way changing 9 grams in a head doesn't make a difference. Let's go one more. Let's see if I can fall in love with this on the last shot. I mean, I've hit that amazing. Yeah, I'm not falling in love with the driver. I've hit that really nicely, actually. That could be one of the best ones I've hit. Yeah, still over 300 yards. Don't know why. Don't know whether it's the feel or the sound or something that's just not quite capturing me here. Yet the results are fantastic. Now, the spin numbers for me haven't changed a great deal. Changing that core should shift it about 400 revs per minute. It's not changed it massively for me. They've been pretty across the board. Let's pull up the figures and actually show you what this Vapor Flex driver actually has to offer as well. Right guys, let's have a look at the numbers and see what the difference happened or changed when I changed that weight around. So, we look at the top 3 first of the Vapor Flex. This is when the weight was all the way forward. Club head speed, very good, 112. Ball speed, fast, 160 plus, quite comfortably. And the launch angle was 13.5 on average. Remember that number? 13 and a half launch angle. The spin rates, I've not split them unfortunately, but the 3 there, you can see it would average at about 2,700. Carry distance was all in the 270s, and total distance was knocking on the door of 294 yards on average, roughly. Pretty straight hitting as well, and 3 good strikes. Let's move down to the next 3 now. So this is when I changed the weight. This is when I put the weight all the way to the back. Club head speed we almost see identical. Ball speed we see a tiny bit less, but that can't be anything to do with the weight. But it's the launch angle. And this is where it's definitely changed. Where before it was about 13 and a half, now with the weight back, it's about 15 and a half difference in launch angle. So launch angle has gone up 2 degrees just because I changed the weight in the back. The spin rates are pretty much the same. There's one low one at 1800 and the rest are about the same. So for me, the spin hasn't changed a huge amount. It should do. You know, that in there, that weight should change it a little bit, but it's not massively changed it. Carry distance almost identical, 275-ish, and total distance was a little bit further. It averaged at about 2.9, almost 2.98, 2.99. So for me, weirdly, the higher launch with that little bit of a lower spin that I was producing with the weight in the back produced better results. The feeling for me off this one felt different to the other two. Now, maybe if I tested this one first, the other two would have felt different, but there's a definite difference in feeling, a difference in sound with the Nike Vapor Flex driver. Tiger and Rory aren't using this one just yet, but it gives it more adjustability. There is more adjustability, custom fit options with this, because you've got the weight, the loft, and you've got the weight at the back. I think they've made, let me get the other two up. I think Nike here have made 3 different drivers. I think that's good, because they've brought 3 out in one go. I think they've brought 3 out that are going to fit different types of golfer. So you've got the speed. The speed is for the higher handicapper, high launch, lots of power, forgiving. Simple as. Looks great, and it's got the big cavity core in the back. The Vapor Pro, smaller head. It's for your better player who doesn't need the adjustability that much. That was the one for me, felt amazing. That felt really, really nice. Whether it was the sound or the feel, I'm not sure, but it just performed well. And then you've got the Nike Vapor Flex. This is the one where you can change the weighting. It's got more adjustability, more options to change. If you're a tinkerer, the Flex might be the one for you. But guys, I think they've made some fantastic range there. I would definitely recommend the Nike fitting. I was impressed with the Nike guys today. It's a guy who came down from Nike. He fitted me today. They've got lots of different shaft options. They've obviously got the irons there as well, which I'll be testing soon. But I wanted to get the drivers done first. Guys, do subscribe. Click the link down here. Do like the video. Let me know what you think about the new Nike Vapor range. Is it something that you would even try? I'm going to be doing some head-to-heads in the future once I've got one of these drivers kind of performing the best. It's probably going to be the Pro one, really. We'll get it up against the Titleist. We'll get it up against the TaylorMade. I think could be some great battles to be had with the new Nike driver. Guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Subscribe, like, comment. We'll see you next time.